So we know that in chemical reactions, bonds are broken and new bonds are formed. We can describe how this happens using the collision theory. So the collision theory, there are two main parts to it. First, that the molecules can only react if they collide with each other. And second, that the molecules must collide with the correct orientation and with enough energy to cause the bonds to break and new bonds to form. So this is shown here in our diagram. If these are two reactants, then before the collision we've got this picture. They need to collide in the correct orientation. So the green needs to hit the green at exactly the right angle, and it also needs to hit with enough energy to cause this bond here between the green and the blue guy to break. If there's enough energy, it's at the right orientation, then we form our products, which is the two green guys and then the blue and the red guy by itself. So the minimum amount of energy that's required for an reaction to occur has a special name. It's called the activation energy, or we shorten that as E subscript A. So it's kind of like if you were playing golf, you're trying to hit a ball over a hill. You need to hit that ball with enough energy in order to get it up and over this hill so that it'll come back down and hopefully go into the hole. So just as the ball cannot get over a hill if it doesn't roll up the hill with enough energy, a reaction can't occur unless the molecules possess sufficient energy to get up and over this activation energy barrier. So we can show this with a diagram. We call them reaction coordinate diagrams. And basically what we're doing is we're taking those energy, the enthalpy change diagrams that we were doing before, and just drawing them in a slightly different way. So here we've got our reactants and our products. Okay. It looks a little bit different because we're talking about potential energy now, since we're talking about the progress of a reaction pathway. And along the x-axis we're plotting the reaction pathway. So this reaction is for the rearrangement of methyl isonitrile. Not really that important, but this actually will help us visualize the energy changes throughout the system. Okay, so in this diagram we've got our reactants here and our products here. The difference between those two is our change in energy. Okay. The highest point on this diagram is called a transition state. So pretty similar to when we talked about those transition states in organic chemistry. The species that's present at the transition state is called the activated complex. And the energy gap then between the peak of the highest point on this diagram, so right here, maybe let's change colors so we can see that a little bit better. Between the top of the highest point on our diagram to our reactants, so this gap right here, or this difference in energy right here, is our activation energy. So that means these reactants are going to require that much energy in order to get over this hump, and once it gets over that peak, it will then form the products.